Hey, y'all, my name is Bryant Young.
And Derek Chaney.
Here with the Decent Dads podcast. Great episode for you this week.
We did. We had a fun guy today, Colton Moos.
God, man. And I didn't make any jokes about his name being spelled like a cow. I didn't make a single one. I thought about making a moose joke, and I didn't. And I am very proud of me for not doing that.
That didn't even click in my mind, so you're a better dad than I am. Well
man,
done.
it was a lot of fun. I hadn't had the opportunity to meet him before the show, and so it was just a supernatural click, though. I mean, it was so much fun, high energy, fun stories,
conversational guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, great dude. I've actually known him for a little while, so we immediately had that connection there. But yeah, it's fun to hear him talk about dad stuff. Mm-hmm. All his good stories, man. He has some great stories that.
We think you guys will enjoy.
I don't even know if he really could finish half the stories without like cracking up.
I know, right?
Because they were so good.
So good. So at the end of the day, I hope you guys enjoy this one. I really think you will. So without further ado,
let's do it.
Decent Dads podcast. Here we go. Good evening, folks, and welcome back to the Decent Dads podcast. We're here to tell dad jokes, drink coffee, and build a community of dads navigating fatherhood together. I'm Bryant Young, fearless leader, co-host, girl dad, and your friendly local insurance agent based out of Springfield, Missouri. And now, before we get started on today's episode, please help me welcome, he's a 6'3" sophomore shooting guard from small town Missouri. He wishes he was a first-team All-American, but instead, he's the coolest co-host with the most, a fantastic father of two, and the home loan expert. Folks, put your hands together and welcome the incomparable Mr. Derek Chaney. How are you, Derek?
Woo. Yeah.
Woohoo!
Do it, man. You know what? Normally I say I'm doing good, but I'm doing fantastic today.
Come on.
That's what I like to hear.
You guys don't know why. We're actually recording this the Wednesday after the Super Bowl.
It's almost like I'm wearing my gear for no reason at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's a St. Louis hat, but we'll let it slide.
It's red and yellow. Give me a break.
Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champions, so I'm not wearing my normal dad attire. Got my Chiefs shirt on, so might look a little different today.
We forgot to tell you that's what we were doing. We actually didn't realize it until he walked in that we were both wearing our Chiefs gear. So
that's all right. I miss a boat.
Take it. Colton's not a Chiefs fan, but that's okay.
I guess I'm Raiders.
There's a little bit.
That's not good. That is not a good.
You know what?
Way.
Let's cut the episode right now. We are done. That's really unacceptable.
It's really nice to see you.
I would never claim to be a Raiders fan. That is not true.
I don't blame you. They don't even know who their quarterback is right now. So, but anyways, you know what? It's a good day for a good day, boys.
It's a good day.
It's got our hoppy coffee here.
Prost.
Got another great guest. We made the connection just a minute ago that actually all three of us were Hollister models. I think that was the actual title that they gave us when we worked there.
That's embarrassing. That is embarrassing.
They didn't call me a model. They just locked me in the back room. Is that the same thing?
Oh, gosh. I guess just me and Colton were better
I'm
looking
just
than
kidding.
you.
I worked girls' front. I sold girls' jeans. Give me a break.
Oh, well, it's funny. You still wear girls'
That's
jeans.
not very nice.
Anyways.
Smart
Gosh,
ass.
we're getting on too many tangents
We're getting
here.
off topic here.
Great guest today. Great guest. Colton Moos. I've known him for quite a while. Me and him have, I guess, technically, now that we've made that connection, worked together in two different places. And now we're both in the same industry, real estate wise.
Love it.
So we've known each other for quite a while. But Colton, some of our guests might not know you or might not know who you are. So if you will, tell us who you are, what you do.
Absolutely.
Give us your dad resume. Tell us how many kids you got, what are their ages, which one's your favorite, and just go from there.
You got it. I mean, I can't live up to that introduction. I wish I had something like that you just got. But
you need a hype man over here.
I do. So, yeah, my name's Colton Moos. I am in real estate. I'm a real estate agent. Just started really getting into real estate investing, too. So that's an exciting thing in my life, and I love that. As far as my dad resume, I've got two boys, Clemson and Stetson.
Boy, dad.
Clemson is 4. He'll be 5 soon. Stetson is a year and a half.
Two of the most masculine little boy names I've ever heard in my life. I love those names. I love those.
Yikes. For the oldest one, it's not rubbing off. It's not working. So
he's still got some time.
Hopefully as he gets older, it'll grow on him a little bit.
I love it.
But yeah, the Moos household is full of boys. There's me. There's the 2 boys. We have 2 dogs that are both boys too. So my wife is way outnumbered.
Very much so. Yeah.
She's a saint.
She's a saint. Yeah.
She's a great lady.
You know, Decent Dad is probably the best name for what I've got going. if it was the Phenomenal Mom podcast, she would be good. But Decent Dad, just
we're working on that one.
Yeah, we're actually working on a mom takeover of the show. With our spouses. So that's absolutely in the works, and will be a lot of fun when it happens. So
absolutely,
we'll get your wife on the list of guests when that comes to pass.
She deserves it. I'll say that. She's not getting a ton of help.
I think
me.
that's every mom.
No joke, dude. I mean, we've talked about it ad nauseum, but like, moms kick ass.
They do,
and we're just here to provide support. I feel like a lot of times.
Yeah.
So we do a couple of things every single week, Colton. First and foremost, we start with Tantrum of the Week. And just to kind of give you an example of what we're dealing with, I am discovering that when my daughter is sick, all of her vocabulary goes away. So you've not met Elsie yet, but she's almost 2.
Okay.
And she has been sick this week, and her vocabulary has all but gone away.
Oh, no.
Because
Just
she
emotions?
doesn't feel good. Yep. It's all no.
No.
Just full
just
stop.
no.
It's all no. Just do you want to go to bed? No. Do you want to go to the tub, which is her favorite place in the world?
Right.
No.
Right.
Do you want your kitty, which is her favorite toy? No. Do you want to go have Cheetos or broccoli or any of the things that she loves? No. Just not into it. No. It has been, boys, it's been nonstop for like 3 days of just no, just constant.
I could have brought you some Kahlua for your coffee. With that. I mean,
he needs
that
it.
is brutal. I
Yeah,
mean,
it has been a and then I was getting over sickness.
Yeah.
And then Elsie got sick. Now, we won't say that I got Elsie sick,
of course
but we
not.
will just say that I was sick
Right.
and then Elsie was sick.
Allegedly.
So I'm hearing a lot of no's in my life right now, and it has been a near constant struggle for like 3 or 4 days, and it is the worst.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun at all.
No, not at all.
Well,
what kind of
speaking
tantrums are you
sickness,
dealing with? Yeah.
Warning the crowd here. You know, I'm getting over a little bit too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you may hear it. I'm not like terrible chain smoker or anything, but it's going to come out. There's going to be times I'm going to go in a coughing spell. It happens when I laugh, so be ready. So,
What kind of tantrums have you dealt with this week?
the tantrum of the week. Not the first time it's happened. I'm going to try to keep this as PG as possible for the crowd.
You do whatever you want to do, buddy. I promise.
I was like, where are we going with
we
this
go.
tantrum?
Full disclosure, way worse shit has been said on this
All
show.
right, bring it on. So this is the oldest. This is Clemson, and he's the emotional one. He has the most tantrums. And recently, it's not the first time it's happened, but it's the worst time it's happened. He, boy dad, right?
Sure.
Didn't really expect erections to happen as much as they've been happening at 4
Right.
years old.
It's
okay?
weird when they're
I'm
little.
Sorry.
Yeah,
but-
it is.
Man,
Just,
yeah.
just saying it, just putting it out there for,
Yeah.
for the audience. But
Hey, you know what? It's something dads are going to have to deal with. We better talk about it.
And so, you change diapers, happens, but recently it's been a morning type thing, right? Like
Sure.
like a pubescent teenager.
Almost, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But Clemson is also very kind of sensory sensitive, touch sensitive, and he had a bad one this week, as in, full salute, standing erect, and we're trying to get him dressed, and he's trying to put his jeans on, and he is not happy with his penis. And I'm talking like he is yelling at it. He's hitting his leg, and he's saying, "I just don't like this penis anymore." Like, wants a new one. This, I mean, guys, I'm not kidding. My poor wife. This is what she deals with, right?
Like, I
And
don't even know
so
what
he's
to
saying
do.
this stupid hard penis, and we're losing it.
Right, I'm like,
we don't
how
know
can you
what
keep a straight face?
Trust me, buddy. You'll like that later in life.
Exactly. And
It'll be
so
good for you later in life.
we start chipping in, and my wife's, she says something like, "Well, Clemson Daddy gets them too. It's all right." And I'm like, "Oh gosh,
don't
here we
go there.
right?
Yeah, I really don't want to
And
do
so
this.
I'm trying my hardest. I'm just saying things like, "Man, That's what's supposed to happen. If that didn't happen, it wouldn't be working right.
Yeah.
Nothing's hitting
But
home.
you're
It's
telling
not
that to your
happening.
4-year-old. It's like, how do you
Can't
have that
comprehend this
conversation?
at all.
Sure,
It's
absolutely.
so bad. So, to put jeans on, which should take 15 seconds, it was like a 10-minute process.
Oh,
we were
no.
late. We were late
Oh,
to school.
no.
But like I said, it's kind of
Thank you for sharing
comes
that.
the
That is
call.
hysterical.
it's a common thing right now.
Oh,
and
that's great.
that is hysterical. Thank
yeah,
you for sharing that. That's the
it's,
funniest shit.
It happens more times than I'd like to share. Like
Oh, I get it.
but we're getting through it. We're getting through it. And we're getting used to it.
Part of
hopefully.
it.
So
Oh,
Hey,
man, that's
follow that, big boy.
yeah, that's my
Well,
tantrum of the
right?
week.
That was great. That was so good. My oldest, he's ran into that a little bit. Not too
Yeah.
bad, like you said, where you're changing diapers and stuff, and he just gives it like the confused look. He doesn't say anything. He just gives it the confused look, like looks down at it, like WTF. Looks at me. He's like, "Dad, you seeing what I'm seeing? Like, what's
dog.
going on here?"
Yeah, dog.
And it's just like that's right now. He's not even 3, so we don't even talk about it. We just avoid it completely.
Yeah, just ignore it.
But yeah, speaking of my oldest, man, he's been super good lately as far as like manners go and like listening to us, which is a big step for him. I feel like,
Jealous.
'cause-
This jerk.
no,
Jealous.
no, because
Jealous.
because he's a lot like your oldest too, and he's like very emotional. He's our emotional one, right? So the fact that like he's been doing all this is like we are shocked by it. But anyways, we had a rough day the other day. Like I mean, whole day is bad. It's a Saturday. It's a weekend day. Anyways, I didn't work, and
You're a banker.
I know. So it could have been a Monday. But yeah, so we had a rough day and the whole day is just bad. I mean, he's like throwing tantrums and all this stuff and we had dinner and stuff and and I was just like, you know what? It's been a tough day. We're just going to end it on a high note. You know what? We're going to go get donuts. Dad's going to be happy.
Nice.
Kids are going to be happy.
Love
Nice.
that. Love that.
We're getting out of the house. You know what? Let's just end the day on a high note, right? Go to Hertz Donuts, get our donuts. We're eating them, and I don't know if you guys have been there, but they have like little, like almost like Hot Wheels type cars that are the Hertz Donuts.
I've not been in there yet.
Truck.
Yeah, the new one.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the little toy trucks that they have. And when we're getting our donuts, Liam's like, I want that truck. I want that truck. And I'm like, no, man, we're just getting donuts, right? So we eat our donut. Yeah.
Trouble's a brewing.
Right, it's brewing. Yeah. And so we're eating our donuts, and he's happy. He's eating them, and we just got him these rain boots because they had dinosaurs. He's a big dinosaur fan. They light up, so he loves them. He has to wear them everywhere right now.
They sound
okay?
amazing.
Yeah.
I want a pair.
Right?
Yeah.
So we have to wear them everywhere right now. So we're in Hertz Donuts with our dinosaur boots on, eat our donuts, and we're like, all right, well, we ate our donuts, so we're going to go home now. Well,
I didn't. Yeah.
yeah, he did not forget about that Hertz donut
man.
little truck toy that he wanted. And so I pick him up and we're walking out. He realizes we're going out. He's like, truck, I want truck. And he starts losing it like while I'm carrying him.
Oh,
Bad thing about rain boots is they're not tied on. So it's like
oh yeah.
they fly off pretty quick.
Did he just kick his foot and
So
it flies
like
across the
I'm
room?
holding him like this, chest to chest. He flicks one leg this way in front of him, and it goes flying across Hertz Donuts, like almost hits this couple having a donut. Flicks the other one behind me, and I don't even know where it goes. It goes somewhere way out of there. Thank goodness, me and my wife were on the same page, and I'm just like, I'm out. I'm going straight to the truck with him, and she's like, we just made eye
like, "I got
contact.
the
She's like,
boots."
I got the boots.
I'm on it.
We're good. But man, it was rough. Screamed the whole way home.
Shit.
Didn't
Yeah,
get
it's
his
tough.
truck. So yeah, that was fun.
Way to hold firm, Dad.
Well,
Way to hold
that's-
firm.
you know,
Don't give him that truck.
That's my favorite part about Derek. He is the steadfast, staunch, like patience of Methuselah dad you've ever met in your entire life. It's just the
Not really.
best. Bullshit. I don't believe that at all.
I covered it up well.
Speaking of dads that are our examples, we also like to tell folks our dad hacks
Yeah.
or like the
Oh,
best
yeah.
dad advice you've ever received. I gotta tell you guys this one. We hinted at this or joked about it a couple of weeks ago, but I've got a sick kid, so I've spent a lot of time with like a toddler on my chest, and I've got my phone in my lap, and I'm just kind of fiddling through, like flipping through whatever.
Yeah,
And I'm trying really hard to I deleted TikTok off my phone. I try not to scroll Instagram too much. I try to just turn on something that's a little more long form and just listen or just watch. And so
Sure.
I found this YouTube channel called How to Dad.
Oh yeah.
And he's this news.
That's a great one.
He's this.
I love that.
He's
one.
this
I know that
guy.
one.
He's from New Zealand.
Yeah.
And he's just this madman, but also has these really funny, satirical how to be a
yeah.
dad
You showed me
videos. I
that.
showed you a couple of
Yeah.
them. And it was like how to put a baby to sleep, or how to talk to your toddler, or how to make a sandwich with your kid. And he's just this prolific dad, but he's from New Zealand, and he always walks around in flip-flops, short shorts, and this one very specific
Great
t-shirt.
accent.
And he's just the coolest looking guy. He's like, looks like a rugby player turned dad.
Come on.
And it is just the greatest. So if I could endorse another YouTube channel other than ours, of course, I've got to endorse How to Dad. And so check out some of his stuff. The guy is hilarious. Just one of my favorites.
So
Nice.
that actually, if we're talking dad hacks,
Yeah.
that transitions very nicely to mine.
Perfect.
You guys sent me that, and I thought about it. You've got a sick kid right now.
Yeah.
You can put mine to use right away. Okay?
Perfect.
So,
Tell me when. Yeah.
Instant dad hack.
instant
Please,
dad hack right
Tell me
now,
more.
dropping knowledge.
Please tell me more.
So back to the oldest one, the hard one, the emotional one. He does not take medicine well at all.
Mm-hmm.
He hates medicine, and it's bad. Like me and my wife have both of us held him down, and we get it spit all over us.
It's heartbreaking.
It's so bad.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
And so what we started doing with the last round of antibiotics is we make homemade popsicles, and we put, we have the little tubes that you put in the freezer. She makes up a smoothie type thing. I've never made them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Once
But she
again, our
makes
wives are awesome.
I know. Wives are, thank you, babe. But yeah, and so we put the medicine right in there, and he's begging for them. Like he wants them before we go to
Really?
bed. He wants them in the morning before school.
Wow.
And so
That's
he's taking his medicine.
Badass.
And it's
that
also-
is
He thinks
he's
so
getting a treat.
good.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing we use it for. Two purposes, right? I mean, I'm a candy phenom. I do not
Okay.
eat healthy. I don't eat well, and I love candy, right? And so we got to start
Those
limiting
damn
it.
college athletes.
It
We
is-
get
It
it.
is not good. And so, I buy my kids way too much candy because I want to eat it. If they get
not for you, it's for me.
That's
Yeah.
right. So we've started trying to use it like, hey, no candy tonight, buddy. How about a popsicle?
Right.
It's been working, though.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's been working.
Yeah, that sounds
so
great.
We're trying to wean off.
Okay.
Not wean all the way off, wean a little less candy.
Sure.
Because I'm never giving that up. It doesn't matter. I don't care what the
dude.
doctors say. Like,
Yeah.
if loving candy's wrong, I don't want to be right.
Yeah, no, I
I've
get
heard that before, so.
I love that.
What's your go-to?
I love that.
Oh, boy. Anything sour.
Okay.
But
Really?
there's a candy
Okay.
called Rips. It's like sour belts, and it tastes kind of like Sour Patch Kids, but it's
Yeah.
like a long belt-looking thing.
I haven't had that one.
Oh, you guys got to
So is that like a Hy-Vee special or something? Can I find that at
you
Hy-Vee?
get it anywhere.
All right.
Really?
You
all
get
right.
Hy-Vee, Walmart, you name it. Rips.
All right.
Try that.
They're good.
Sponsored.
Rips.
What do you got?
Right. Well, yeah, no sick kids, luckily.
Jealous. Bragger.
Seriously.
But I'm glad
Bragger.
you're endorsing other YouTube channels because now it makes me want to endorse one too. So already mentioned Chiefs won Super Bowl. Shout out to
Let's go,
them.
Chefs.
So yeah, you should dad hack brainwash your kids into liking whatever sports/teams that you like. Because right now,
While they're impressionable.
Right.
Get it in there while
right?
you can.
Because right now, right?
a
I mean,
good one.
kids love watching their cartoons. Liam loves watching his cartoons and
Yeah.
stuff. But early on, we'd always put Chiefs football on whenever they were playing and just be like, go Chiefs, go Chiefs. So now,
Oh, come on.
if we put on Chiefs football, he'll just look at it and be like, go Chiefs. Like he wants to watch it. I mean,
love
he
that.
doesn't really pay that much attention to it, but he's not upset that it's on, right?
No.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Super Bowl's on and, he doesn't care.
Oh, yeah. We were over at their house for the Super Bowl, and he was just having
Yeah,
just the
just
time of his life hanging out on the
Yeah,
floor.
just super chill.
That's great.
But yeah, endorsing a podcast, New Heights podcast with the Kelsey brothers.
Oh, man.
Man,
I haven't
that-
watched the full episode yet. I've seen highlights.
I'm
but-
about
and stuff,
I'm about
sure.
6
Yeah.
or 7 episodes in. Dude, they are hilarious.
Are they?
Highly
So
recommend it.
I'm not like super easy to cry, which is not true. I'm super easy to cry, but
he's a big softie.
I am a giant softie. But listening to Travis Kelsey talk and well, I think it was actually Jason talking about it, about seeing his mom after he lost the Super Bowl and his
Yep.
brother won, and how emotional he was talking about it.
Yeah.
And how excited he was for his mom, but how sad he was that he lost. And it was like that weird
Yep.
two-sided double-edged sword or whatever. I was in freaking tears just immediately.
Well, think about the parent in that situation, right?
God, I can't even imagine.
It's a lose.
Can't even imagine. Yeah, for sure.
Lose.
I mean,
Absolutely.
Or you look at it as a win-win.
Well,
If you're a glass half full kind of guy, one of my kids is going to win the Super Bowl.
but one's going to lose, right?
Nah, we're trying to be positive around here. All right?
I mean, yeah.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
100%.
so that is like quite the predicament, like, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I saw something. It wasn't that same thing, but something like that. And I think it was his dad. And they're like, well, no matter what happens in the Super Bowl, which son are you going to first? And he's like, well, probably the one that loses because he's going to need it more.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like,
That's good.
That's a good dad right there.
Is
right?
Dad still in the picture? That's what I never knew this whole week.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Well, yeah, they talk about they have been talking about the mom quite a bit,
right.
but yeah, Dad's still there. They've
Dad-
had him on as a guest and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Okay.
Their dad's been on the podcast and stuff.
love it.
And yeah, it's good stuff.
And it is really funny to hear, like, because you think about you raised 2 NFL bound kids. Mm-hmm. What did you feed them?
What are your genetics?
That's where I was going next. Was it mom or was it dad?
Well, but
Right?
Dad talked about how you got to feed them the 5 food groups, and that most of those food groups were in Bagel Bites and Hot Pockets. And so
It's all
obviously,
genetics,
so
dude.
obviously, exactly,
Hey,
it's
my
all.
house is destined for great things because that's what we got going on.
I love it. Well, we it's hilarious. We've just setting up segues perfectly here. So. I know you've got some funny stories about sports and stuff, and you guys have some interesting thoughts on sports in your household about, like,
For sure.
So I want to know the story because I know that you have a soccer player in your house and that you have
Kind
a pretty
of.
funny story. Well, okay.
Attempting
To be honest,
play
kind
soccer.
of.
I know you've got a pretty funny story about soccer games and stuff. So I want to
Oh, yeah.
know. I want to know your soccer story.
I am happy to share. So, yeah, one of the worst mistakes on my end was probably choosing to co-coach 4, 5, and 6-year-old soccer. Right, that is really frustrating. And it was fun, but it was frustrating. And so my son, oldest one, again, we keep hitting home on Clemson.
Poor guy, getting hammered.
he won't watch this for several years.
Yeah,
it's okay.
And it might be trouble those years when he finally sees it. Anyways, so I'm coaching him. He's actually 3 at the time. So I had some friends, and actually a lot of them I played football with growing up. They all had older kids. It was 4, 5, and 6 was the league. Clemson was 3. I was like, he'll be fine. Right.
Right.
Dad
Holy
was an
crap.
athlete. He'll be
Right.
fine.
I'm gonna
No.
make him better.
Holy
Oh,
crap.
it's not good. So he, throughout the season, he never tried once to even kick the ball. He's playing in the grass. He's playing with the flag, making Dad real frustrated. And we're talking about it every game. Like, hey, buddy, like, just kick it once. Like,
Right.
just kick it one time. So this is embarrassing. All right, here we go. So I'm going to go from a decent dad to a real bad dad real quick. So it was my turn to bring snacks.
Can't be perfect all the time,
Me
okay?
and my wife, it's our turn to bring snacks. And Clemson, same as every week, he goes out there, runs around out of bounds, playing in the crowd.
Picking clovers.
I mean, not even playing soccer in any way, shape, or form. So I bring snacks. Game ends. We lost. I think we lost most games. I go over to get the snacks that were by my wife. I start bringing them, and all of a sudden, Clemson wants to pay attention. Now
Right.
he's like, "Oh, snacks! I'm going to be a soccer player now." And so I start carrying them over, and I'm like, I don't know what got into me, but I was like, "Go sit down." I was like, "Go to mom and go sit down," and I'm in front of everyone at this point. The game's over. I'm in the field. Both sides, like both teams, parents here. None of them really know me except for a couple on our team. I'm like, "Go sit down." And I literally said, these snacks are for the soccer players who actually tried. Go sit down. He's 3. Right? I'm a psycho.
Oh shit!
And I'm like, and so I look around and I'm getting judged bad.
Yeah,
There are
yeah.
stares
Yeah,
everywhere
yeah.
coming my direction. And I don't remember how I soothed it over,
That's
but
hysterical.
I remember one dad staring at me, and he looks at me and he kind of laughs. And I was like, I'm about to get hotlined, aren't I? That's what I said to him. I said, someone's about to hotline me. And he started laughing really hard. So then I let Clemson come over and get the snacks.
Yeah.
But that was it. And that's been a hard lesson.
But we've talked about that constantly, and we've had several guests that were college athletes or that were like way more athletic folks, and that they have questioned whether or not they want to coach their kids.
Yeah.
Not at 3.
And it's just it's like we had Jimmy on who I understand is also your trainer.
He's my trainer a couple days a week.
But like we had Jimmy on who played college sports, is still obviously very involved in athletics. Right. But he basically said, I straight up refuse to coach my own son. I'm not doing it because he didn't want to. He wants his kid to ask him to be the coach. Yeah. Before he actually volunteers to be the coach of his own son. And I know that you told the story about playing for your dad and all that stuff. So
funny story, shout out Amir, Jimmy's son. He was on the team.
Oh, was he really?
We had an opening, and I asked Jimmy if Amir wanted to be on the soccer team. He was on the team. I actually got a picture on my phone of Clemson and Amir.
That's awesome.
Sitting on the bench, not playing soccer, goofing around, right?
Building that bond.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, they're buddies. What more could you ask for?
Oh, well, that's the soccer story. And I thought I was worried I was about to get hotline for abuse, but it is so what funny. It is.
Well, but so along those same lines, though, I think you guys, and you alluded to this in some of your notes leading up to this, but you said something along the lines of that we're trying to focus a little less on sports and a little more on some other things.
For sure.
So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Like you were an athlete and growing up and stuff, but you also, it seems like you kind of understand that that's not the end all be all.
Yeah, that's really it. Like I want my boys to play sports. I want them to be involved. I'm not saying we're not doing sports, but especially right now, he's 4 now. Maybe I'm a little intense. Maybe we need to back off a little bit. But
that's hard, man.
It is hard. It is hard. But it's pride, right? It's all pride. But I just, if we're gonna get real serious here, let's get serious. Yeah. My life, I was a teacher and I was raised with not a lot, and I've done a little better for myself these past couple of years, and life's going good. But I saw a study once that if you go inner city and you go kind of like poverty type schools, you can ask the kids, who wants to be a professional athlete when they grow up, and it's like 90.
I've heard these same numbers. Yeah, it's crazy.
And if you go to a school like a private school, you go to a school that's a higher income area, and you ask them how many want to be a professional athlete when they grow up, it's like 10%. And so, the truth is, if I was 6'6" and just a freak human being, I would probably push it a little more. But the truth is, I just don't see it in my kid's future.
You don't have the genetics. That's part of it, right?
Yeah, it's
a really good realization on you, to have that.
Yeah, you guys said I played college football. There was not a lot of playing going on. It was a lot of sitting, and I was very driven. I was undersized, but if my boys were able to play even at that type of level, like NAIA, I would encourage them. Sure. But I don't want it to be like an idol, like it was for me. It was such an idol.
Yeah. Well, but I would imagine that the skill set that you learned doing those kinds of things has been able to apply to things outside of sports in your life.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, the competitive nature, the drive, 100%. The work hard. Yeah. I know that's translated to your life.
Yeah. And that's one thing I've always said too. I absolutely want my kids to play sports because there's so much you can learn from that. But as a parent, and I don't think you should discourage your kids from their dreams by any means. Yeah. But as a parent, there's a 99% chance your kid is not going to be a professional athlete. Yeah.
Set realistic expectations.
Right. I mean, you don't have to tell them that, but you need to know that, right?
100%.
So it's like that's one thing that kills me now is like the whole AAU or traveling, whatever sport. Like, why are these kids playing that at a second, third grade level? Like, you're not even
every weekend,
right? Every weekend, like you're
driving back and forth to Kansas City 7 times a week.
Nobody asks you when you're trying to play or trying to get on a college team. Like, oh well, what was your points per game in second, third grade?
AAU.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Not at all.
How many home runs did you hit when you were 9 years old? Nobody cares.
Yeah. That is
different
a
kids
non-issue.
mature at different ages.
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I did it from like 7th grade on, but really, I don't think it's necessary until you hit high school. That's my personal opinion.
Well, I mean, I didn't grow into my body until high school. Yeah. I went from little short fat kid to didn't lose a pound but stretched 6 or 8 inches when I got to high school, and then I got fat again. But I stretched at one point, and so I didn't grow into my quote unquote athlete's body until I was in high school. Yeah, and so I played AAU basketball in 8th grade and had zero business doing that because I didn't, or not even 8th grade. Excuse me, it was like 5th grade. But I was not athletic, and bless the coach's heart, he was like, yeah. Man, we're really glad you're here.
Yeah,
right. You make that bench look good.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
it is.
yeah. So, but I'm I'm a firm believer that, listen, you got to work with what you're given. And if you are,
Right.
5'8", you're not going to make it in the NBA.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. It's
Gotta
just
be
not going to
realistic.
happen.
Gotta be
Or,
realistic.
I mean, even shoot, you're 5'8", you're not going to make it in the NFL. You're probably not going to make it in the MLB. Like, if
Nope.
you got to look at your genetics, you got to look at the cards you're dealt.
No.
And
Bowling, golf.
Now
got
we're
a chance.
talking.
I'm telling you,
See?
there are a lot of stud athletes. Well, I don't know about stud athletes.
Hey.
There's a lot of college scholarships to be earned in other sports that are out there that are not basketball,
So- Might
not be
football,
that
and
popular.
baseball.
Little nugget here, right? So my boss is wonderful. He pays for me to have a business coach out of New York. My business coach has 3 sons, 2 twins and an older one, right? And he's told me before on calls, like, that's my foursome for life, right? Me and those 3 boys.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be playing golf till I'm 80 with those 3 boys, right? Well, I got 2 boys. I need one more,
There you go.
right,
Work
for
on a
my
third.
foursome. Like, I mean, come on. That's
I love it. That's
amazing,
awesome.
isn't it?
That's funny.
So-
Colton, we're talking about our kids playing sports and whatnot, and
Yeah.
whether we want them to play, a lot of sports, not a lot of sport, whatever it is. But one thing that is fun to do with your kids is, make up different games with them, whether it's trying to get them to do stuff or not. Like I know, my oldest. He doesn't want to go to bed too bad right now, so it's like we play a little game that's I bet you I can beat you to your room. And so we race to his room.
Love
and
it.
There's a baby gate on his room, and so he locks me and Allie out because he beats us every time. He's so fast we can't keep up. Right?
What a little stud.
Right? But he's like
that.
so happy to go in his room, and he doesn't realize that he's trapped. when we do that. So yeah, man, that's a fun game. We play with him. But what about you got 2 boys, so I'm sure you play all sorts of games with those 2.
So with the oldest one, everything's a competition, and I use that to my advantage, like you do.
Yep,
getting
yep.
dressed, right? I got the baby, I'm getting him dressed. I'm like, hey, I bet we're gonna beat you,
Yep,
right?
yep.
And he always wants to win. Doesn't matter what it is.
That's good.
Good mentality to have.
Yeah, absolutely. The game that comes to mind is more. I don't know if I'm just playing it on my own. I think we all do this as parents, right, with our spouses. But if I know there's a diaper that needs to be changed,
Yes.
I'm going to find something to do, right? We just had an argument about it, me and my wife, just like 2 days ago. But I
Do you hear
I
that?
heard
I think something's in the basement. I hear it.
yeah, I got to do
Somebody's
my
breaking
taxes,
it,
man.
man.
It's tax season, so I'll see ya. I'll do it. I'll
that's
walk
hysterical.
away from my kids. The 4-year-old, he's not in diapers anymore.
Yeah, sure.
I will completely ignore the 1.5-year-old for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
He'll be coming to me, and I'm going somewhere else. But that's
Talk to your
that's my
mother.
game.
Talk to your
Oh,
mother.
man, I'm
Talk to your
losing.
mother.
That's exactly right. Talk to your mother. And so, I don't know. Am I the only one that plays that game? I
Heck
feel like we
no.
all do that, right?
Heck no.
Even
yeah.
if we don't say it.
Yeah, it's funny you said 2 days ago, like probably last night or the day before.
Yeah.
We did the same thing. Me and Brody are playing on the floor, and I'm like, he's a little stinky, but I don't say anything, right? I let it slide.
Good afternoon.
And
Fake
then,
phone call.
right? And then Allie, she's over there too, and he like walks over there to her, and she's like, you smell. She's like, I think you got a dirty diaper. And she's like, Derek, you got this? I'm like, you smelt it, you dealt it. You got to change that diaper.
How's that
dealt
go
it.
over?
Oh, no.
Like a lead balloon.
Well, it's like if you pull a Colton and you're like, nope, you smelt it, you got to do it, and just walk away. She'll change it. But if I stay there, there's
It's got to bounce. No eye contact.
There's a
nothing, just go.
105%
That's
chance I'm
so
changing that
funny
diaper.
that you've documented that though, and you just know that because at the end of the day, I think I was doing that subconsciously. Where it was one of those deals where it's like, I'm gonna go put the dishes away because anything
I'm
to not,
busy.
not to get my hands in shit. Because truly, I'm pretty sure we're gonna stop at 1. We've got one daughter, Elsie, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna stop at 1. But the day I get to stop dealing with shitty diapers.
Oh man.
Dude,
And
great.
you're already out on one of them, so
Right,
but
right.
Yep.
I cannot. It's going to be a banner day in our household
man.
when
It
we
is.
don't have to
Looking
deal with
forward to
diapers
it for you.
anymore.
Yeah.
Holy shit,
Still have to
man!
wipe butts. but
Literally.
it is a great.
Yeah,
feeling.
that's a good point. That
I'd
it doesn't
much rather
really
wipe a
stop.
butt than change a dirty diaper.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely one of those deals where it's like I don't really know what I'm doing.
Well, now thanks to the popularity of the podcast, I'm going to be outed.
Yeah,
So,
well,
I'm stuck with all dirty diapers.
Sandy, close your ears.
Yeah, we're going to hide this from the wife for sure.
It's funny to talk about that though because there are those little games that you play with your kids, or even if you're trying to play the mental game with yourself. When I first became a dad, and was doing all of the swaddling.
Okay, yeah.
I fancied myself the fastest swaddler
Oh my
in the
gosh!
West.
The dude recorded himself and put it on Facebook.
So
look at how fast I am! I'm such a great parent.
So we've got the camera over her bed, right?
Yeah,
And it has a record function, and periodically it'll send you like a, hey, here's something that happened on the camera a couple days ago, and it was a video of me swaddling the baby, and it was in fast motion.
Yeah, I was like, he
and
put it in fast forward.
And it was in fast motion.
Yeah,
and so in the back of my head, I'm going, I don't know, dude, this looks kind of fast. And so I, of course, snapshot that and put it on social media somewhere. And I was like, I'm taking all challengers. Who wants it? Who wants this smoke? I'm ready for it. Who wants this smoke?
Did you guys watch The Office?
Oh yeah.
When Jim, when he first brought the baby home, he put a diaper on everything.
He was diapering footballs. Exactly.
That's Bryant.
That's me. Yes, exactly. I am John Krasinski. Yeah,
there you go.
I am equally as handsome.
Except for you record yourself doing it.
I'm equally as
Let
handsome.
everybody know how great of a
don't worry about all that.
swaddler
It's fine.
you are.
I'm very good at swaddling. Okay. What other stories do we think we have? I know we've got all kinds of funny ones.
Yeah.
You talk about games. Gosh, I'm back on the oldest. Whatever. Sorry, Clemson.
Easy to pick on,
not
man.
as bad.
Easy
this
to pick
one's not
on.
as bad, but he, similar to the old movie Big Daddy with Adam Sandler. He likes it when I hurt myself. So we figured it out real early. I don't know how.
I forgot about that part in Big
Yeah,
Daddy.
like he runs out in front of the car, gets hit by a car, So, like, if Clemson was hysterical as a baby, I would pretend I walk into a door frame and hold my head, and it changed the whole mood. Like, he loved it.
Oh, that's
so. And he's
how did I not think of that? I haven't done that yet.
He still loves it, right? He loves it. But one of the funniest things I ever saw with it is, I don't remember this scenario. It was either a birthday party or it was something. He was around a bunch of new kids, you know, and he's not. I'm pretty outgoing. My wife is not. He takes more after her.
Sure,
he's pretty shy, and so. I'm watching him. There's these little girls and stuff, and he has no idea who anybody is, and he's like a little awkward. He's a baby, so whatever. But all of a sudden, I see him hit himself and go, oh, he was like 2 at the time, So he was totally doing it because he thinks it's so funny. He's trying to make
he's making his friends laugh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really good. That's
so
really
it was
good.
Amazing.
That's
it was
good.
so.
I mean, he's
funny.
trying.
He was trying.
Right?
You know what? But that's how you build comedic chops. You find something you like, you find something that works, that makes you laugh, and then you try to demonstrate that to other people. That's hilarious.
He had it down, man.
That's funny. So he's he probably doesn't do well with like big crowds and stuff like that. Then it's funny. I saw Colton and his family. It was what was this 3 weeks ago or so at Urban Air.
Oh gosh,
we went there for a birthday party.
I think
you guys were just going there to go on a Saturday in winter, and oh my gosh, this was like Black Friday at Target. Like
terrible decision.
You could not move
terrible
in this
decision.
place. And I see him, and me and him both just share a look like, why are we here?
I lasted 45 minutes.
Yeah, I was like,
gone.
you guys lasted, longer.
Those kind of places. Are there spiders? Are there like any kind of like? Because I assume that like those kind of places. How do you get something like that clean enough?
Oh, right. The ball pit is like 5 feet deep.
Exactly. Like, do you remember the Discovery Zone? Like when we were kids.
I love the Discovery Zone.
I loved that place, but then I thought back on it and like, there's no way somebody was getting. Like, somebody with arachnophobia is gonna freak out.
Oh, man.
Because, like, there's no way that you can clean that place well enough that it's actually really gonna get clean.
For sure.
The ball pits are gross. The little slide things,
pits.
the foam pits, like, all that stuff is gross.
Disgusting.
It's like
we're
if you're
in flu season, right? Terrible decision to ever go there.
Isn't that funny how COVID has completely changed the way you see things just on a day-to-day basis? Because, like, at the end of the day, post-COVID, Discovery Center is weird.
Yeah.
Not Discovery Center, excuse me, Discovery
Urban
Zone.
Air.
Or something like
wherever.
Urban Air. Wherever. But, like, Urban Air's, I'm sure it's perfectly fun, but it's one of those deals where it is interesting to see how everybody got super scared about COVID, or at least a lot of people did. And so it was funny to how that changed a lot of our reaction to those kind of things, particularly with our kids. So
I know. It's bad. But yeah, that was a crazy experience and not something I will probably ever do again on a Saturday afternoon.
No.
Maybe ever.
I don't know.
You had to go for a birthday party.
I was gonna say,
You
yeah,
had no choice.
we were stuck there for a while, like
Yeah.
a good 2 hours. And it's bad. And yeah, it's funny that you say that, like about worried about spiders in the foam pit or ball pit or whatever. And it's like, but what about because I mean, my kids, like, they could easily, if they're having fun, just take a piss in the foam pit. And it's like, what do you do?
There's no reason to stop having fun. Just let it
no,
go,
but my
baby.
thing
Let
is
it
just
go.
like, you can't get that out of that
No.
foam block.
No,
No,
right
because
at all.
there's got to be a drain at the bottom of it, right?
God.
But I'm saying that foam block, like, it's soaked in there. Like, that's not coming
Man,
out.
I hope we don't get sued here.
Oh,
Don't come
man.
after us.
No,
down
my
there.
kids are so potty trained, they would never do anything like that. But
Well, it's like we went to. Well, did you guys do gymnastics when you were kids at all? Did
did,
your parents?
no. I did.
So we took Elsie to swim lessons at one of the local gymnastics places because
Okay.
they've got a gym in the back area.
Okay.
And it was the same place that I did gymnastics, is where Elsie is learning how to swim. And so I walked into that building and I just took one sniff, and it was like I was back to like 4 or 5 years old again,
man.
smelling that like weird stank,
Yeah.
murky,
smell it right now as you're
musty. It was
talking.
just. but it's I'm 33 years old, 34 years old when I'm walking into this place. Like,
you're like, nope.
this is
I'm 5 again.
I'm 5 again, and we're just right back to it.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah, that's funny because I think Liam's actually going to do swim lessons at that exact same place that
it's
you're
awesome.
talking about.
It
here
is
in
actually the swim lessons are actually really, really good.
Yeah,
so I won't speak ill of the place in general, but it's just one of those things. It's like, this is very strange to go back to because it is odd, like 30 years later, to go back to the same place
yeah.
where you did something with your kids. I've found a lot of that where it's like, Elsie's going to go to the same high school that I went to. If we stay in the same place where we live now.
Sure.
I went to Hickory Hills Elementary School for 2 years before
old Hickory
the
Hills.
old Hickory Hills.
Yeah. Different location.
Before we moved, it's where Menards is now. But
That's right.
it'll be
Taco
super
Bell, yeah.
interesting to see, because Else won't go to Field or Pershing like I did, but she'll go to Glendale, and it'll be super interesting just to see, like, doing the same things with your kids that you did 30 plus years ago or whatever the number is.
Right.
It's been a lot of fun to try to do some of those things. But the gym / pool place was one of them. We had kid birthday parties in that place. I remember swimming in there, and now I'm jumping in the pool with my little toddler trying to do swim lessons in that same pool where we had parties 30 years later.
Yeah.
And how'd it go? Successful? She's swimming on her own?
I don't know about swimming on her own. We're floating. It's not like the full blown immersive dump your kid in the pool and hope they can turn on their back thing, because I'm too much of a wuss and couldn't sign up for that one.
It's so scary though,
Dude,
as a parent,
it's terrifying because I'm a water person, and so water, I have a large amount of respect for water. And also, I love the water, but it also scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
And so, like, just dumping my kid in the pool, I'm not there yet.
Sure.
We're getting there.
But like, it was interesting. Just it's because she loves the bath, and so it's just getting her acclimated to being in the water, but that she can't put her feet down.
Yeah.
And that was the whole thing, is that, like, okay, we're just in the water, we're okay with it being on our face.
I'm scared if I can't put my feet down.
Well,
I tell you what.
so it was funny the first time the instructor, because one of the things that they do is they like, okay, we're going to push you through the water, so you're like being propelled through the water, so it gets on, like, splashes up on your chest.
Oh, okay.
But then, like, the third or fourth class, they go boom and dunk them under and then push them towards you.
Okay.
And so Elsie just comes up.
right?
Just full panic.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
what's going on? And there's water in my face and in my mouth, and I hope it's not in my lungs. And she's okay,
Yeah.
but also, I think Dad freaked out worse than she did, because it's like,
probably.
what the fuck did you just do?
love
And then
it.
Drowning my child.
I was ready to beat the shit out of the 17-year-old girl that was teaching our class.
Making minimum wage
what?
down there. teaching
What is
kids.
up with you trying to beat women?
I don't know. I
17-year-old girl to nurse whenever Elsie.
yeah.
Good night.
Well, it was just one of those deals where I didn't know it was coming, and then all of a sudden, Elsie's underwater and she's pushing her towards me, like, oh shit, okay, you're okay, you're all right, it's okay, we're alive, we're okay.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, kids are funny, but no, Colton. I think Bryant earlier was trying to hint at, you kind of have a arachnophobia story, and lunch boxes hinting towards
Lord,
school
there's so
there.
many
So
stories.
Tell
us your stories, man.
Yeah,
tell us your stories.
Your spider
We'll
lunchbox
start-
story.
Well, and so that's, I sent you guys a note page. They probably all ran together. Arachnophobia, that's just a terrible parenting mistake. I don't know why me and my wife wanted to watch it, right? Arachnophobia, the movie.
Oh, the
from,
movie.
The movie from freaking 92 or
So I was
whatever,
just
maybe
trying to
older.
tee up a story about spiders, not thinking
that's where I
anything
thought
about
was
it.
going too.
So you watched that movie with your kids?
Well, we didn't know he was paying attention. He had the phone.
Oh shit.
We were not paying attention to him. He had the phone. And he was into it though. I mean, he watched probably an hour of it.
Oh wow.
And we didn't know he was paying attention until the very, very end, and like the monster spiders run around the basement, and Dumb and Dumber Jeff Daniels is down there fighting the spider, and Clemson starts ducking like this.
Oh no.
And we notices anytime the spider's on the screen, he ducks.
Oh no.
So we've created arachnophobia by being terrible parents and just letting him watch arachnophobia with us. And so that's arachnophobia. That is not the brightest move we've ever made as parents,
so
but and he kind of likes scary things, so he'll still bring it up. Like he doesn't like it. He's scared of it, but like, hey, you want to watch that spider movie again? Like, no, dude, you had nightmares forever.
You're gonna have PTSD over
I'm
here,
not teeing this up again. No, absolutely not.
That was it.
Yeah,
so
we read that all wrong.
yeah. No,
That's
and
funny because that absolutely happens. Because like, so my wife likes true crime.
Okay.
My wife likes both the podcasts, and then she's also gotten into recently, because apparently Netflix has a bunch of them, cult stories, and so there's a bunch of cult documentary type things.
Yep. Technical difficulties.
Better fix your microphone. But she started watching these things, and I told her, I was like, okay, that's totally fine. You watch, obviously, watch whatever the hell you want to watch. I'm not going to tell you what to do. However, if Elsie's in the room, absolutely not. Yeah. I do not. And it's kind of funny because I think about some of the R-rated movies that I saw way too young.
Yeah.
Fifth Element was the first R-rated movie that I ever saw.
Top Gun was my first one.
There you go. All right. Yeah. So I saw Mila Jovovich naked way too early in my lifetime. And so it was one of those deals where it's like, I'm going to try really hard to not introduce Elsie to that kind of crap too early. Yeah. But I don't really want her watching cult or like true crime crap too early. But it is. It's. Have you experienced anything like that where you guys have because you guys are a wholesome sweetheart couple where you guys probably watch Sunshine and Rainbows on TV.
Yeah, I mean really Sunshine and Rainbows at 5, sparkles and glitter at 6. But no, I mean that is something you have to be so mindful of, right? Because kids, I mean, they only have that innocence once, right?
Yeah.
And
Truth.
Once it's gone,
that's
gone.
a really good way to put it
you have
too.
to be so careful of that. And so really TV wise, my go-to is ESPN or Sports Center.
Sure.
So there's nothing really that's going to be bad on there, right?
Because it's cable.
Allie's go-to is the news.
Is it really?
Take it or leave it, however you want to perceive that. So and really we try not to put on TV too much, unless it's a learning thing, where they're learning something, or some other kids show, singing songs or lullabies, whatever it is. We try to avoid that for a reason. It's we don't put on any adult movies until we're laying in bed at night.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But the other thing you got to be careful of is radio when you're in the car.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Right, or not radio, but your phone playlist, because it probably doesn't have the edited version.
Oh, it's not good.
Time.
It's not good on Daddy's phone.
Right.
No.
And so I have some NWA on my phone.
Yes.
And when your kid asks you, what's F the police mean? Well,
never mind,
son.
Never
we're just
mind.
Gonna change this channel and act like you never heard that.
Right?
So,
oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, I mean that's my go-to.
Careful.
90s rap, 2000s
right.
rap.
I mean that's
is
just
my
what
go-to,
we grew up
right?
with.
That's what we grew
Absolutely.
up with.
And you forget your kid. You're like, oh, you want to listen to Baby Shark?
Yeah, exactly.
Complete opposite.
Well, what was the first song that you guys knew every words to? Because mine was "Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap" by AC/DC.
Oh,
nice. my dad. So I came home. I was 5 years old, coming back from breakfast with my dad one morning, and I walk into the kitchen from the garage going, "Dirty deeds done dirt cheap, dirt." And my mom was mortified. Just absolutely pissed that my dad had let that happen, because the AC/DC Live, to this day is still my favorite album ever made.
Okay.
And
it's a good one.
But that's because Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. Little Bryant was just obsessed with that
You can't
song.
get it out of your brain.
No, I can't.
It's subconscious.
It is one of those deals where I'm trying to figure out like what of my music I'm going to introduce to Else, because I'm kind of in the same boat where it's a little bit of like AC/DC stuff, and then it's a little bit of like alternative stuff that is around our age group, Modest Mouse and those kind of things, Incubus and those kind of bands, and then 90s hip hop. I'm in the same boat. Yeah. And so it's like, I don't really want to introduce her to 90s hip hop. Incubus is okay, but she's not into that at this point. And I mean, AC/DC's not great either. Yeah. So I don't know. Like, have you? At this point, all she wants to listen to is like Old MacDonald and Baby Shark and the Snoop Dogg album. Are you familiar with this?
I love that.
The Snoop Dogg children's album.
Please and thank you. Yes, it's so good.
Elsie loves his Wheels on the Bus.
Okay.
That's a big one.
I still haven't busted it out yet. I need to bust that out.
You need to do that in the car because they'll be into it.
No, my parents were much better parents than I was, or am, I should say.
I thought you were going to say it than me. It's like, all right, fine, be that way.
Because it's like, I just remember like growing up.
Do you have any extra coffee over there, by the way?
No, mine are all
I'm just checking.
But I just remember growing up, like both my parents would always like just listen to like whatever was on the radio, the country music stations, and it's like you can't go wrong. I mean, you can
you really can't.
You can interpret those lyrics different ways,
sure,
but you can't really go wrong with it. And I remember thinking, even as a young kid, I'm like, I know technical difficulty. My bad. I know my parents didn't listen to this when they were younger.
Sure.
So I'm
no, not at all.
And it's I know they listened to like some rock or whatever music they listened to back in the 70s and 80s that was probably not that good. But for whatever reason, the whole time growing up, they would just always put on whatever country music station was on, and I'm like,
I don't want to be that guy, but like I probably should be doing that
like
too.
You realize you're like, wow, you guys were much better, parents than I am. Like, good for you. Well, I have so much more learning to do. But
to put it really practically, how bad I'm doing at this, like, I put this on my Instagram not too long ago. I put a story or reel or whatever it's called. If I play Still DRE by Dr. Dre, and it hits that little like piano type beat at the beginning, like I started playing it and Clemson was head bobbing.
Oh, shit.
Right? And I stop it and he literally says, Dad, that's my favorite song.
Oh no.
That's how bad I'm doing at this.
Oh no.
Or good, however you look at it.
I think it's good. I think it's good. Just and I guess what it really comes down to is we have to go seek out the edited version of these songs, or our kids are gonna start saying F the police in daycare.
Right. Not gonna be good.
Police come straight from the underground. It's like, probably not.
My 3-year-old's going to be putting handcuffs and taken out of daycare.
No. Have you dealt with any kid cursing or anything yet at this point?
No. Not yet.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
Well, I think you heard
Actually, I take that back.
Yeah.
It happened just a couple weeks ago.
Did it really?
So one of the things I'm very proud of right now, my son's favorite movie is A Sandlot. Okay. There's a little bit of swearing in The Sandlot. These kids,
but still, what a great movie for a kid.
Movie.
Awesome.
He loves it. And so there's a scene where it's when the very end the dog jumps over the fence and the Rocket, whatever his name is, or the Jet. Is it the Jet? It's the Jet.
It's the Jet.
The Jet. Benny the Jet.
He's fast.
And he goes, "Holy shit!" Right?
Yeah.
And me and Sandy, we are out in the kitchen. He's watching it in our master bedroom, but we hear him. He's like, "Dad," he said, and he just lets it out. And so me and Sandy look at each other. We're like, "Oh no!"
Well, the cat's out of the bag on that one.
Yeah. So yes, I guess that has happened.
Well, Elsie has only ever said one curse word, and it's because of me. And so I'm, but she's never said it again. She's still a little bit of a parrot. So anything that I say or that Liv says, she'll just say it back to you. Yeah. And so we're trying to be conscious of, because I cuss like a sailor and my wife is worse.
Okay.
And so we're trying to be very conscious of that, where it's like, God. Because I'm a giant, I'm terrible, and Liv is way worse. So it's one of those deals where I don't really know what else to do at this point, because I've tried really hard,
so hard.
But Elsie from the floor just said shit at me from the other day because I had done the same thing.
The only one though. Yeah, one's not bad.
She got the one.
You're doing all right.
And of all the curse words out there, if she says shit, I mean not my favorite thing for her to say.
Sure.
But it's also probably not the worst thing she could say. So I guess we'll let it slide this time.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, well, I mentioned the NWA thing there, but I'm not taking blame for that. That's Eazy-E, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube. That's on you guys, not me. But
I don't think that's how that works, buddy.
But you probably heard this because we had a little get together for the Super Bowl. Bryant came over, and Liam's big thing now is when something doesn't go the way he wants it to go, and it's not even that bad, but it just shows you what they pick up on.
Yeah,
he's like, "What the heck?" And really emphasizes heck.
Yeah,
and it's like again, not a bad word,
No,
sure. But
it's a replacement word,
right? Exactly, it is a replacement word. It's like me and Allie, we've exchanged, heck for or replaced certain words with heck to be more little kid friendly. But it's like, okay, he's already picking up on that.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to be a little bit more PG on other stuff too. If he's already picking up on
Absolutely.
that. So yeah, but I think that was probably some. I think that's some good advice you told me you got one time was not necessarily what little kids hear you say, but maybe about like how you act or the stuff you do.
Yeah.
What's that advice? I guess.
What's that line? You had a good line.
Yeah.
They pick up on how you act way more than what you say, right?
Okay.
So you can tell them to do something, but they're going to model what you're showing them.
Sure. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I've seen it time and time again, I remember one time doing push-ups, right? Morning at-home workout.
We're doing those right now.
And he does push-ups. He's like 1.5 years old, and he's just putting his hips down on the ground.
I love it.
Right? Just little
He's
stuff
trying.
like that.
He's trying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
That's so much fun.
he wants to be like Dad, so he tries to mimic most of what I do. So that
Nice.
was really good advice.
Elsie's learning how to do push-ups from her knees like Dad, so it's really nice. Derek and I are doing. What are you laughing at? Derek and I are doing 100 push-ups a day
This
thing, and
push-up
have been doing it
challenge.
since the beginning of the year.
Okay.
And it is. I am 3 days behind now on this month, and I was perfect last month, and I'm 3 days behind this month, and it is not even the middle of the month yet.
I was like,
I know.
there's a lot of year left to go.
There's
too,
plenty of
buddy.
room to catch
You
up.
guys are
But
doing
like,
it the whole
Whole
year.
year, buddy.
Come on.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Some of us are better athletes than others, so
I've done it for 30 days.
Good for you.
It's November.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
like a suicide awareness for veterans. So I did it for 30 days.
The Murph deal.
but
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are awesome the whole year.
Yeah.
I'll be cheering you
Well,
on
we
the
haven't done it.
sidelines.
We
I'll
haven't
be
done it
doing
yet.
For the record, I've done it for 30 days.
So I was gonna say we haven't done it yet, but we're trying,
Awesome.
trying very hard.
Yeah.
Well, Colton, we're gonna wrap this up, but before we do, last thing we always do is your dad. So you gotta have a database of dad jokes.
Dad joke of the week.
So man, we need to start calling it that.
Yeah,
That's
right?
clever. That's good. So we're gonna put you on the spot and
Okay.
say, what's your dad joke?
My go-to, and I'm more of a hear something, make a dumb joke about it, right?
Dumb
That's
comment.
My joke. Yeah, absolutely.
You're not the first person to have
Yeah.
made that comment in our show. Yeah, absolutely.
Probably my go-to would be, what does a ceiling fan sound like?
Oh boy, I have no idea.
I know. I'm thinking too hard on this.
Woohoo! Yeah, go ceiling! Let's go! That's all I got. That's the best I
ceiling
got right
fan.
there. Ceiling fan.
Yes.
That's the best I got.
He's my
Well
hype
done,
man.
dude.
He's my hype man.
Well done. That is solid.
Right? Dang.
Follow that. Jesus.
So, but
That's- Nice work, dude. That's so funny.
You gave me some options.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to put you on the spot because I've talked about my oldest a lot.
Yeah.
Talk about my youngest. He loves ducks right now.
Perfect.
Anytime he sees a duck, he says whack whack, and it is like
Whack,
the cutest. Says it just
Perfect.
like that.
Perfect.
Whack whack, and it's
love it.
awesome. So we try to find ducks just
Right.
to hear him say it.
Of course.
But in honor of Stetson, the youngest, you said you might have a
Oh.
joke about a duck. So let's hear it.
Funny you should ask.
As a matter of fact.
As a matter of fact, I do. And I'll challenge accepted. So why do ducks have tail feathers? I mean, while we're talking about ducks, why do ducks have tail feathers?
So they can shake their tail feather?
It's so they can cover their butt quacks.
So good.
That's classic. That's classic dad joke.
I'm mad I didn't get it.
know.
I'm mad I wasn't even
I've
close.
never heard that one, but that is good. That is
a good one.
I thought that one was really good.
Great
I was
dad
pretty
joke.
proud of that
It's
one
not
when I
that
found
funny,
it.
but that is solid
butt
dad
quacks.
joke material.
I'm
right
using
there.
that with the 4-year-old.
Yeah,
You'll love
perfect.
it.
Do
You'll
it.
love it.
Do it.
man.
Take it away. Yeah. So what's your duck dad joke?
Well, a 4-year-old might not get this one.
Is this Uncle Joke territory
No,
right now?
It is not Uncle Joke territory, but it's very.
We
it's
have a
very
gag
dad.
on the show where Uncle
like
jokes are the ones that are a little bit off color and you probably wouldn't tell your kids. Dad jokes we think you would probably tell your kids.
Well, speaking of dad jokes, it was probably 2 or 3, maybe 4 episodes. You had a dad joke about some ants and how they were your tenants, right? So it made me thinking about
There were 10 of them. 10 ants.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
So
It's good stuff.
right? So it made me think of we found a termite the other day in our home, which is probably not a good thing.
Don't tell your insurance agent that.
Turn your insurance ears off.
Yeah, okay. All
Okay,
right.
so we found one. And I was like, oh, whatever reason, it made me think about your ant joke.
Yeah, sure.
And so, you said you kept your ants, and I was like, that is very admirable of Bryant to, give those ants a house. So I was like, well, we can't just kill this, this termite. We have to give him a new home, right? So we kept him as a pet, and naturally, you gotta name your pets, right?
Yeah.
So we named him Clint. Clint eats wood.
Oh, come on.
Clint eats wood.
Eats wood.
Holy shit.
That's really good, though. I love
That
it.
is heavy, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
like the
That
real
is.
life application dad joke. I love it. I love it.
We have gotten pretty bad about leading up to our
Oh,
dad
yeah,
jokes.
we try to set him up too hard, I think. Probably too hard.
Oh, dude. Well, that's perfect.
You can't back out now.
No, exactly. Well, Colton, we hope you had fun, man. This is a lot of fun. We appreciate you being here. We do have to say thank you to some folks out there on the internet. We actually recently crossed 500 subscribers on YouTube, which to us is kind of a big freaking deal. We're really excited about that.
yeah.
So,
You have 501 after this.
well,
I've been
thanks,
on YouTube
brother.
in a while, but I'll get on. And
we appreciate that, brother. Thank you.
Absolutely.
That's actually a requirement for our guests.
Yeah.
Just subscribe to our
It
channel.
is decided. So, but yeah, it's frankly, we're really excited about that.
Yeah.
It's 500 plus subscribers at this point. I think it's actually closer to 525 at this point.
go.
So
That's awesome.
we're really excited about that. So thank you, everybody who's
Absolutely.
watching out there on the internet. Please continue to give us your dad hacks. Tell us your dad jokes. Tell us the best piece of dad advice you ever received. Are your kids dealing with tantrums right now? We want to know about them in the comments, in our DMs. We still have people. I will never not be surprised about how many people have been so awesome in the comments, giving us suggestions on all these different things.
Yes.
It is so
That's
cool.
Probably the most fun part about this.
No, my God, yeah, it's just the
Other
greatest.
dads, like, hey, this is what I'm dealing with, or hey, this is what's working for me. This is my dad hack.
Yeah, I mean
It's so cool.
and we've got people outside of the states that are watching, and people outside of the states that are commenting on stuff. It's a lot of fun. So thank you all very much for checking out the show and being involved. So we're just going to continue to call you decent dads out there out in the world.
I know.
So
It's funny. I mentioned New Heights earlier, that podcast with the Kelsey brothers, and they were trying to. The last episode I listened to, they was trying to figure out a good name for their fans.
We have made that comment before.
Or for their listeners. I shouldn't say fans, for their listeners. We need to figure out a good name for our listeners.
Yeah, I agree, and I've asked for that. So if you can give us suggestions in the comments and stuff, please do, because I like decent dads, but that also kind of doubles as like the guys on the show.
Right.
What do we call them? We don't really know. So
I don't know. I was like dadders, but that sounds weird.
Yeah, that sounds odd.
So let us know what you think would be a good name for the listeners.
I'm petitioning for double D's, but that's just me.
Double D's.
But that's just me. So
Brian's always a fan of those.
Exactly. So man, thanks for being here, dude.
Man,
we really
thanks for
appreciate it.
having
Way
me.
to go,
Thanks
decent
for
dad.
Good
having
job,
me.
decent dad. Well done, buddy.
Doing my best.
So without further ado, I guess that's all we've got for tonight, huh?
That's it.
We'll see you next time. We get a guy to just run our social media for
Right.
us,
Good night.
so neither of us have to do it.
Right, so we're not a hot mess.
Yeah, or forgetting to put an episode out on time. Derek texted me at about 10:30 on Tuesday morning. He's like, "Hey, Did you set the episode to active on like our YouTube page? And I went,
yes.
and I just sent him a text, just said, "Oh fuck."
I was like, so I'll take that as a no.